Hello everybody, this is lesson number 22. Being willing to fight will keep you out of a lot of fights. That's a very simple statement, and it's very true. And I've said this for years. I've probably said this for 35 years. Being willing to fight, being able to fight, being ready to fight will mean you never have to fight. There is no safety in helplessness. There is no security in ignorance, stupidity, and weakness. Grizzly bears don't get attacked. Lions don't get attacked. The weak get attacked. The vulnerable get attacked. There's just and we have a real pervasive undercurrent of thought that if you're weak, you're safe. If you're weak and you're nonviolent, if you're pathetic and weak and vulnerable, you are secure. And this is, I teach women's self-defense, and I do a lot of self-defense classes to different groups, different people. And I say this, I say if you are weak and vulnerable and can get beat up by anyone and attacked by anyone and mugged and robbed, you're not a pacifist. You're a victim. A pacifist is somebody who's so strong that they're capable of fighting, capable of inflicting violence on someone else, and choose not to. If you're so weak and pathetic that you can't help but get beat up by someone else, you don't have a choice. You're just like a cockroach being squished. You can't be a pacifist and be a weakling, because then you have no choice. Being a pacifist, the noble term, I'm a pacifist, means you could fight, you're strong enough to fight, and you choose not to fight. You choose not to inflict harm on someone. So if you have all those noble intentions, then you better be strong and able to fight. Another example of that is, if you are able to fight, willing to fight, and know how to fight, you can avoid all the fights. You can live a totally nothing's total, but you can live a pretty non-violent life. I'm always surprised people talk about all the fights they've been in bar fights and street fights, and I have been in very few bar fights. When I was young, I got in a lot of fights because I just had a real rough neighborhood, and kids fought at my school all the time. But as an adult, I haven't been in too many street fights. I just haven't. I'm not vulnerable, and so I'm willing to fight. I still do. I carry a mouthpiece around a lot of times. I used to do that when we put on shows and things, and I'm always willing to spar with somebody. But being willing to fight will mean you never have anyone cause problems. And I have a lot of friends, and they get in fights a lot. And it's funny, I used to say this, I couldn't buy a street fight. I couldn't get in one, and I never did. I think part of it is I just wasn't real provocative. I wasn't trying to look for trouble, but that's kind of an example. Being willing to do something will mean you never have to do it. Being unable to do something will mean you have to do it, because there's no reason for someone not to push you at that level. I've often said, being willing to discipline your kids will mean you don't have to. Being willing to stand up for right will mean you don't have to. Being willing to make a stand about something will mean you don't have to. And that could be at work, it could be in a relationship. If you are in a relationship with someone and you won't stand for certain things, it'll mean you never have to. You never have to make that stand, because you will do it, and someone knows that. So that's this lesson. It's number 22, I think. Being willing to fight will keep you out of a lot of fights. Think about this, study it. It's pretty simple, but it's pretty true. So thanks a lot. Hope this helps somebody.